Right, exactly. I mean, we must say, but I told my boss it's not like I planned to like go to Florida and got it all in my head. It was suddenly you have 29 minutes, and my anxiety beast awoke,
Yeah.
and here we are. But it was a good chance to get some stuff done that I've been looking at for a while and thinking, oh, I should do that.
Nice, nice.
How about you? It was a race weekend, was it not?
Well, yeah, pretty much, between February and November, every weekend is a race weekend. I think they have next week off, so they got a 2-week period here before another race. But yeah, and it was a 3-fer. We had the truck race and the Xfinity race. I'm a NASCAR fan, and then the Big Cup race. So yeah, they were all very good. Yeah, good time. Amazing. I don't have I guess Joey Logano would be my favorite driver now, but it was Mark Martin forever, and before that, Alan Kulwicki. That takes you back a few decades.
I don't know these things, but I know that you love them. And there was a car show of some sort? Or am I wrong?
I'm trying to think. Yes. Yeah, that was Saturday. There was the big car show downtown Riverside. As for the East Side Rotary Club in Riverside, California, and they sold out. I think it's somewhere north of 1,000 cars. A lot of cars, a little of everything. There's a guy.
Amazing.
Yeah, there's a guy that has 3 old buses. Somehow he's acquired, and probably, the look of them and the graphics on them and all that. They're probably 70s or so. And he just comes down for free and does the cruise. And just what's great is just people walking around can just climb on the bus. He doesn't charge anything, and he just drives around the cruise. So everybody gets to go around and see the cars without having to walk around.
That's a bomb.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. People love it. And then there's everything else, and the people's imagination that create these cars. I mean, it's it really is an art form, because that exists in your mind, and you have to create it in metal and all of the things. And there's tractors, military vehicles, you name it. It's all there. Yeah, good time. And then Sunday we had a little fundraiser for Rolling Start. Did one of those things where we go to a restaurant and we had breakfast. So all gathered and had breakfast and invited all of our constituents. So that was a good time. We had a good turnout.
That's awesome.
Kind of late at last minute, but it came together very nicely. And a couple of board meetings last week. Those are always a hoot. And
some could say that. That's a way to say it.
That's the way to say it. Yep. I had a couple of doctor's appointments, and I wanted to run this by you. And I am, at least I feel, and I feel like I'm being honest with myself. I'm not really a sensitive guy when it comes to how I'm addressed. As far as my disability goes, I know people, don't understand, it's whatever. And so, you have these little slights and they just kind of roll off. But this one, I don't know why, it just kind of irritated me. So I go to the doctor, and first of all, I was going to a doctor, like a group, a medical group. And so I want a doctor that I could build a relationship with, and I see them every time. They know what's going on with me. I think that continuity is important for my health.
Yes.
And so I went to see the doctor that I'm going to see now, because I looked for a dermatologist for something, and she came up as a dermatologist. But as we addressed that, got all that squared away, then I noticed she's an MD. I'm like, can I just come to you as a doctor? I really liked her. We really kind of connected. So so I saw her 2 or 3 times. Now I'm seeing somebody else in her practice. Well, I'm only there because I wanted, I clicked with her.
Right.
So if I'm not seeing her, what's the point? So I got to address that. Now I got to call, and maybe she doesn't feel the same about me. Anyway, go ahead.
Right? Did they say they were doing a fill-in though, or they said this is your new provider?
I don't remember that. The gal came in this week, and she said, I haven't seen you. And I'm like, I don't recall her at all. That's how much.
You're like, I've never seen you.
Bless her heart, but that's the impression she made on me. To this moment, I have no recollection of seeing her before. But perfectly wonderful lady. But in the course of asking all the questions, she asks, who do you live with?
Okay.
Does that, do you get the, or is it just me? Again, maybe I'm being.
No, that's just you. I think that's just you being old. No, I'm kidding.
Old?
No, because
easy. Let's not go there.
Always, hey, that was for Forrest.
Yeah.
They always ask me that. Like, who lives in your household? And
No. I can deal with who lives in your household. Who do you live with? But
I think it's the same question by a different phrase. Are you saying they're implying you need a caretaker?
Yeah. I do not think they pose that question to an able-bodied person that way. Then they say it your way. Who else is in your household?
Well, maybe it's just her style and it's a bad bedside
I don't
manner.
like her style.
Yeah. No, I mean, because the girl, I'm in a similar boat to you. My GP now is because she was a fill-in for the one I had before, who I didn't really love, and I really clicked with this girl. And I went a few weeks ago and I told her the only reason I come to the doctor is because it's you. But because she can be really blunt, you know what I mean? Like, she'll be like, hey, you need to fix your cholesterol or whatever. It doesn't hurt. But I could get that you would feel weird about it. But I really think that that's like standard in the group of questions nowadays.
And I'm torn too, because I mean, it's like, I'm not really, really upset about it, but it just was off-putting.
But what would you rather they said?
How many in your household? Do you live with anybody? Just be straight. It seems passive aggressive to me. You know, I know what you're getting at. You assume that, you know, I've talked to other people before we got to the podcast here, and they were a little bit more like, yeah, I get it all the time. People will say, people that are surprised that you drive, people that are, when they find out you know, at least had a wife at one time, you have a child, you have a grandchild, you know, and it's the closed captioning that's on their face. It's not what they say.
No, totally.
You see the look in their eye, like bewildered, like the dog that turns their head. What? This guy has
I get that. Yeah. I get that. I mean, I've been in situations where people are like, wait, you have a husband?
Yeah.
It's like, yes, I do, actually.
Yeah. Oh, have I ever told you the story?
I feel you.
I'm going to tell a story. Forgive me, everybody. But I got to tell you this story because this really relates here. I used to live or work in a, you know, like a 4-story building. So there's all these little offices in there. And I befriended a guy that down the hall from where the radio station was. And, you know, we became friends and we lifted weights together, all that stuff. So I would go in there and he had a coworker, young lady that lived in there. And, you know, and at the time I was married and my daughter was a baby, 2 years old. And every once in a while, you know, her and the wife would come by and, you know, and of course they would probably pop in and see my friend Rich because they knew him. He was right off the elevator. And so his coworker, the young lady, would ask repeatedly, evidently, if that was my child. She didn't think I could father a child. Yeah. And if you saw my daughter at 2 years old, this is the joke I always used to tell. She looked so much like me. I would say, we're not sure if her mother is her mother, but, you know, that's definitely my child.
It's definitely you. Yeah.
But this is where she would ask so much of him. Every time she'd see, you know, my child or me or whatever, are you sure? And finally, he said he just kind of got mad. And he said, here, I'm going to give you $20. Go over to a local motel and they'll show you.
Oh, no, people. Spicy.
I wasn't any part of that. That was just him.
Right?
Telling what he finally, out of frustration, that's what he said to her.
You're like, I'm sorry. I'm already accounted for. See, I have a child and a wife, but no, different time, different circumstance, maybe.
Yeah. And I took no offense to that. I thought that was funny. So that just to give you an idea of my level of, you know, like this statement that she said, over the course of my life, there might have been 2 or 3 others like that kind of struck me as odd like that. But that one, just was that.
But you know what's funny? And because it's in a clinical setting, I don't even think she'd remember she said it that way. Like, you know what I mean? You're a box and a number. And it's the same like when I had my back surgery and I literally was a